James was happily engrossed in a game of Texas poker at an illegal casino that evening. Beside him sat a young lady with short hair who was dressed in revealing attire. Judging from the casino chips on the table, it looked like they had been winning a lot. "I have a pair of queens. Show your hand." A man with a hooked nose who sat opposite James revealed his hand. "You dare challenge me with just a pair of queens? Keep your eyes open, buddy. I've got three of a kind." James grinned, flipping his cards over to show a pair of sixes. Since there was a 6 in one of the 5 community cards, they made a set of 3 sixes, also known as three of a kind. The rules of Texas poker are simple. There were 5 community cards, and each player was dealt 2 whole cards. These can then be combined in any way to form the best 5-card hand. The highest ranking hand is a royal flush, followed by 4 of a kind, full house, flush, 3 of a kind, 2 pair, 1 pair, and finally, a high card. "James, you've won again. You're amazing." The lady with short hair cheered excitedly, admiration evident in her eyes. "Ha ha ha. Well, luck isn't the only factor in a game of Texas poker. It's a matter of skill too. I can see through all his tricks. There's no way I'd lose to him." James bragged gleefully. "I say, based on your chips, you've probably won at least $1 million, haven't you, James?" the young lady asked as her eyes shone brightly. "More or less. Here, this is for you." James pressed a chip worth $20,000 into her hand with a chuckle. "Thank you, James." The young lady flashed him a radiant smile before planting a kiss on his cheek. "Come on, let's go enjoy ourselves." James reached out to hook an arm around the lady's neck. He was happy with how much he'd won and was ready to leave to enjoy the rest of the night. "You have a winning streak tonight, James. Why don't you play some more while you're winning? It's a good opportunity for you to make some more money while Lady Luck is on your side." The young lady did not seem to want to leave yet. "Oh, rascal. Are you running off after winning just so little? What a loser. Would you dare play another game with me?" The man with the hooked nose who sat opposite James taunted. "This is a golden opportunity, James. Think of all the money you can win off of him. You shouldn't miss the chance." The young lady persuaded him in a hushed whisper. "You've got a point there." James nodded and looked at the man with a smirk. "It looks like you enjoy losing money. I'll see to it that you walk out without a single cent today. Deal the cards." With a wave of his hand, another round commenced. Half an hour later. "Oops, a straight. I think I've won again." The man opposite James showed his hand, revealing a set of straight. "Damn it. I lost again." Losing his temper, James threw the pair of kings in his hand on the table. With beads of sweat on his forehead and red, bloodshot eyes, he looked irritated. Just half an hour ago, he had been basking in the joy of winning continuously, making himself more than $1 million without breaking a sweat. But now, it seemed as though Lady Luck had frowned on him, and he had lost everything that he had won earlier in the evening. What terrible luck. Again. Unwilling to accept defeat, James gestured for the dealer to start a new round. "You're out of chips, James." The young lady reminded him. "What?" James looked down at the table to see that he had indeed run out of chips. "Ha ha ha. Is that all you've got? What a cheapo." The man with the hooked nose ridiculed James. "Get lost then if you haven't got any more money. Quit making an embarrassment of yourself here." "The fuck did you just say?" James slammed his hands on the table as he bolted straight up in his seat, fury written on his face. "What? Did I say anything wrong? Don't act like you're a big shot if you don't have the money, loser." Then, with a contemptuous expression, he called out to the young lady, "Hey, hot stuff, what are you doing with a loser like that? Why don't you join me instead? I'll make sure you have the best of everything. You dash." James was so vexed that he ground his teeth together. But there was nothing much he could do. "James, I heard that they allow players to borrow money from them here. Do you want to give it a try?" the young lady asked. "Let's do it. I'll win back everything I lost tonight," James roared. He could never look past the other man's taunts. Especially not in front of a woman he fancied. "Sure. I'll get it done immediately." With a quick nod, the young lady got up and left. Not long later, She came back with $2 million worth of chips and a promissory note. Without even looking at what was typed out on the promissory note, James proceeded to sign it and immediately joined the next round of the game. In less than 15 minutes, he lost all $2 billion worth of chips again. "We're out of chips again, James. Should we borrow more?" the young lady asked once again. "Yes. Get as much as you can," James growled. At that moment, he had completely lost control of his senses, his actions only driven by the relentless desire to win back what he lost and make the man with the hooked nose regret what he said. 2 hours later, James was drenched in sweat and panting uncontrollably, his eyes were bloodshot. His expression was somewhat horrifying. "Sorry man, 3 of a kind and 1 pair. That makes a full house. You've lost again." The man opposite him showed his hand and smiled meanly. "Go. Borrow some more." "I refuse to believe that I'll keep losing today," James shouted. "You've already lost too much, James." "They refuse to lend you any more," the young lady answered. "They're not lending me any more." "Why not? Do they think that I can't afford to pay them back?" "I'll have you know that my sister is the chairperson of Nicholson Corporation. She has assets worth over $100 billion, James declared proudly. "Hey, buddy, my boss would like to speak with you." Out of nowhere, a calloused hand rested on James' shoulder from behind. "Who the hell is touching me?" James whipped around immediately. Just as he was about to start acting aggressively, he froze. Behind him stood several insanely buff men who were wearing suits and looked like they were henchmen, staring at him. "What do you want?" James put on a calm facade. "You borrowed quite a huge sum of money throughout the night. My boss would like to talk to you about your payment. Come with us." As the leader of the group of henchmen spoke, he inconspicuously flashed the gun fastened to his belt. James' eyes widened. As he dared not go against their wishes, he had no choice but to follow them upstairs to the VIP room. Over in the VIP room, there was a paunchy man with a cigar perched on his lips and one ankle resting lazily over a knee. "He's here, Mr. Doyle." 2 henchmen pushed James into the room and locked the door from outside. James gulped dryly when he saw the room full of menacing and fierce henchmen. His anxiety was unconcealable. "Do you know who I am?" the paunchy man asked before taking a long swig of his cigar and slowly exhaling, releasing a puff of smoke. "You look very familiar, sir. Have we met?" James asked cautiously. "I'm Doyle. Duncan Doyle," the man said. "Duncan Doyle? From the prestigious Doyle family?" James was astonished. "It's good that you know me. Now, let's talk about my money. So, you borrowed a total of $38 million tonight. How are you going to pay it back?" As Duncan spoke, he slapped a thick stack of promissory notes on the table. Every piece of it had James' signature on it. 38 million? That much? James could not believe his ears and quickly flipped through the notes to check. By then, he was already thoroughly drenched in sweat. "Mr. Doyle, these notes prove that I've only borrowed 30 million. Where did the extra 8 million come from?" James asked miserably.